The Philippines, like many other global south countries, is caught in a global debt trap. Public debt stands at 18.13 trillion pesos or approximately 308 billion US dollars at 63.2% of gross domestic product, the highest in 20 years. The Philippines is also one of the world's most disaster-prone countries. It experiences typhoons, floods, droughts, and other climate shocks, intensified by climate change. Each disaster destroys lives and livelihoods. Each recovery piles on more debt. Behind every statistic, a Filipino woman, a mother, a fisher, a farmer, or migrant rebuilding what storms steal again and again. Should the countries hardest hit by climate change be forced to borrow and increase their debt to rebuild after damage that they did not cause?
Hindi lang naman dito sa lugar naming to. Minsan hanggang doon sa dulo ng Mauban, hanggang Biak na Bato to Araneta, talagang parang dagat kami dito.
Flora Pasicolan, 61, is a resident of Barangay Manresa in Quezon City. Flora is a single mother who single-handedly raised her 3 children by working as a lady guard for years. Now that her children are all grown up and have finished their studies, she maintains their home and has built a 3rd floor. In that way, they didn't have to evacuate when it floods. Flora's situation is relatively better than Emily's. Emily Laluan, 57, also lives on the same street.
Nakakatakot dito eh. Ay, dampas tao yung taong baha dito.
Emily has 10 children. She manages to send her remaining 3 children to school by selling cooked meals. Emily's family plans ahead of typhoons, even if it's just monsoon rains, and goes to the evacuation center in their area. In 2024 alone, more than half of over 9.6 million Filipinos were displaced by back-to-back typhoons. Women and children suffer most. They are 14 times more likely to die in disasters and 4 times more likely to be displaced, with caregiving burdens exploding afterward. Fe Gabrieles, 55, is a resident of Sitio San Isidro, Barangay Bagong Pag-asa, Quezon City. Her family temporarily moved to the sitio after their homes were demolished in 2023. After more than 3 years, they are still waiting for the local government's promise of relocation.
Hindi kami binaan. Ano yun eh, yung pumunta sila. Okay lang ba?
Fe tearfully recalled how their homes were demolished without proper notice. She said that aside from her home, she also lost her sari-sari store, which was her family's main source of income. Fe said that after the demolition, they only received 10,000 pesos. The amount is only good for 1 to 2 months of rental, but they have been informally settling for years now. Living in the same sitio is Janet Familial, 59. She is already a widow and struggles to make ends meet day by day. She recalled how Typhoon Karina ravaged their homes in late July 2024.
Hindi po kami nakaligas. Kaya hindi po kami nakaigib. Hindi kami nakahanda ng pagkain namin. Doon lang po kami sa taas. Nagsahod kami sa tubig ulan para inumin. Isang linggo po yun.
Janet, along with others, lives in that area with makeshift materials for their homes, waiting for relocation for more than 3 years. Even if there is no rain or typhoon, their houses are submerged in murky sewage waters. This is also the case in Bulacan. Rosel Seroma, 43, lives in Barangay Malis, Giginto, Bulacan. Rosel has 3 biological children and 6 foster children. She cleans used bottles and sells them to vendors who repack products. Her husband is an on-call tinsmith.
Gigising po ako ng 4 a.m. para yung mga baon nila. And then pagtatapos ko na po, naihatid ko na po sa school, saka po ako magagawa sa aking hanap buhay yung paghuhugas ng bote. Hanggang gabi na po yun.
Rosel and other Bulacan residents are used to seemingly permanent flooding in their area. It has become a part of their everyday lives. However, it differs every time a disaster ravages their homes. Rebuilding demands funds, but automatic debt servicing eats up a big chunk of the country's meager financial resources. Climate adaptation spending in 2024 alone hit 457.41 billion pesos or 7.68 billion US dollars in 2024. By 2026, climate adaptation spending is projected to be under 3% of GDP even as typhoons shave 0.2 to 0.3% of the annual output. At the same time, debt repayments crowd out health, education, and other essential needs, thus adding to the climate risk faced by impoverished communities and turning crisis into vicious cycles.
Katulad po yung palaking utang natin, lahat ipinapatong sa mga bilihin natin. Patulad niya lang po pag nag-grocery ka, yung 1,000 mo, ilang piraso na lang ang mabibili mo. Kasi may bat ka pang binabayar at mga taxes. So, sobrang napakabigat po.
Roselle explains how she thinks Philippines' ballooning debt affects her and her community. Filipino women are not just victims. They are frontline responders, yet resource-starved. Concentrated in the informal economy, they lose income first and recover last after climate and economic shocks. By 2030, up to 11.4 million could face food insecurity if climate trends worsen. Shrinking budgets mean more unpaid care work, invisible in official tallies.
Yung mangungutang sila, dapat inaano nila sa mga katulad namin na mahihirap. Kahit papano, maibibigay silang kahit konti para pandagdag sa budget man lang.
Marites Diaz, 53, is also a resident of Barangay Bagong Pag-asa, Quezon City. She stresses that if the government continues to borrow funds from other countries and collect taxes from our people, they should have at least given some to them, the poor. So-called aid like $500 million ADB loan for resilience is not a grant and only adds to the debt pile. From 2013 to 2020, $7.8 billion in climate finance flowed in, over half as loans. Why must nations least responsible for climate damage borrow to fix it? Filipino women organize, mobilize, and demand climate and debt justice. They are not drowning, they are fighting.
Napasali po ako sa Oryang Women's Movement dahil dito po ako nagkaroon na nakilala ko po yung pagkatao ko bilang babae at nadagdagan po yung aking kaalaman bilang isang ina, isang babae pala. Dapat alam mo rin kung ano yung kaya mong ipaglaban para sa sarili mo.
Flora and other women are part of a nationwide organization in the Philippines. Oryang Women's Movement celebrates its 9th anniversary this year, 2026. Their demands grant-based climate finance, not debt, loss and damage funds that compensate, not burden. Gender-responsive policies everywhere. Roselle was asked how they find time to organize and mobilize given the situation in the Philippines and how it gravely affects women and their families.
Yun po, ini-schedule po namin kasi kapag mayroon kang gustong maabot or maipahayag, gagawa ka, maglalan ka ng oras para sa ganung gawain. Po, ganito na nga po yung sitwasyon namin dito. Yun po, may dumagdag pa pong giyera, yung patuloy nito pagtaas ng mga bilihin, mga gasolina. So sana po yung giyera is matigilan na para po sa mga mamamayan po.
The story of Filipino women, debt, and climate is not just local. It's global. It asks, who pays for the climate damage? Who shoulders the cost of rebuilding? And how do we ensure justice for those who contributed the least yet suffer the most? Until rich countries pay up the climate finance for the historical damage they caused, until debt no longer chains climate action for recovery, social services, and women's rights, Filipino women will remain on the front lines, resilient yet determined in the local and global fight for debt and climate justice.